Hello, you beautiful, extraordinary beings. I am so thrilled to see you here today. My name is Bamford. Everybody calls me Dee. I'm a Reiki Master and Ascension channel based here in beautiful San Diego, California. And today I'm super excited to share with you on how I got to meet the Ascension Masters and Guides, the experience I had with a shapeshifter and the Anunnaki. It's quite an interesting story. So let me begin. I'm a Reiki Master and Ascension channel. So what does it mean to be an Ascension channel? I've been channeling for a long time, and I usually channel my spirit guides, loved one, masters, record keepers, as I also do Akashic record readings, and I'm just very familiar. However, in May of 2020 of this year, during a meditation, I got introduced first to the Ascension Guides. And then I could always see the Ascension Masters in the back, but I was speaking and communicating, having this beautiful conversation with the Ascension Guides. So it was like first them and then the Masters. And the sole purpose of both the Masters and the Guides is to help us all in this process of ascension, of raising our vibration and sustaining the energy as we are going through this shift, this transition, this ultimate transformation of deep, full consciousness. So back in May, during a meditation, I got to meet the guides, but a little bit prior to that, I've done, my own channeling, and I was already channeling for other people. I would do 20 minutes energy readings, I would call it, where I would be able to channel their guides and who was in their energy field and assisting them, and they gain a lot of clarity and direction and got beautiful messages because you can ask them questions too. And then I always taught them a little bit of how they can do it themselves, because you're able to communicate with your guides all the time. You're doing it right now, and getting that beautiful gut feeling connection that you have. And there's a beautiful way of connecting, and exactly when that comes. So prior to that, I was having very vivid dreams, and it was really interesting. And this is one of the things I love to touch on, because this is where we begin to strengthen our own discernment. When we get to see what's wrong for us, what's good for us, what's a lesson, because the journey is a beautiful journey, and sometimes there's no wrong necessarily. It's just sometimes we rather take the road with the more lessons. And so I was previous to meeting the guides, I was having a lot of very vivid dreams. And a lot of the times we can get influenced by people that we follow, people that we look up to, in a lot of very positive ways, and also in a lot of ways of that they will challenge us when we're going through our own awakening. So that's where we use our own discernment. So one time, as I was watching Elizabeth April channel, she's absolutely fantastic. Check her out. She's on YouTube. She's on Instagram. I love her. She's just so beautiful. And she channels the Galactic Federation. And she did like a video, and then she had, actually a friend had sent me a thing. She's like, hey Dee, check out the Elizabeth April has, like, just to know of what lineage you come from, like if you're starseed or if you're more Pleiadian, and a lot of that. And I've done actually a Pleiadian journey with Lori Ladd, also fantastic. Go follow her. She's another beautiful soul. And that journey that I did with the Pleiadians, I had like the most magical experience, and it was so beautiful. So I went and did this little survey with Elizabeth April, and I got that my lineage comes that I am part Anunnaki. And after that, it came into my vortex, right? It came into my energy field, and I was like, oh, that is really interesting. I never really thought myself of really Anunnaki, but it was very interesting. And I was watching Gaia TV, and oh my gosh, I just forgot. Stefano is his last name. Oh my goodness, I'm drawing a blank on his first name. Matias Stefano, another great being on this earth. I'm not being paid by any of these people. I just love them all. They're so wonderful. And he had a program on. He has a program on Gaia, and I happened that when I looked it up, it was the Anunnaki, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna listen to. It's in my vortex. I may want to begin to experience, and explore a little bit of the Anunnaki. We're all hybrids of some sort, and the Anunnaki. Maybe I need to begin to waken up that my dormant Anunnaki DNA and begin to tap into that and how I can use it for my highest good and the highest good of others. So I look into that and I begin to really learn and allow myself to be very open to the Anunnaki energy. And I begin to learn more and more about it. If you know about the Anunnaki, they're really strong energy, but also they can be really, really soft, and it's just very powerful. And so a lot of the traits I could see within myself that I allocated a lot. I am a Leo sun sign. I am August 8th. So I was born under the Lionsgate portal. So I'm like, okay, I associated a lot to that. But then I'm like, okay, well, maybe I need to pay more attention to the Anunnaki. And so I just begin to notice, to learn more about it. And as I did that, things begin to get very interesting. And I actually began to talk to one of my really trusted friends. She's a great channeler and the Yoga Nidra priestess and just absolutely fantastic. And I began to chat with her and she's like, oh, Dee, you may be really having an experience. And I'm like, but I'm a little hesitant about it. I don't know why. And I began more open. A lot of synchronicities begin to happen. A lot of really crazy experiences begin to happen. I'm no stranger to having experiences with other spirits sometimes. There's a lot of curious energy sometimes. My house is very protected. My home, my inside, the outside, just my energy around our cars, our beings, ourselves is very, very protected. I only work with high vibrational energy of the purest form. So one night, I do a lot of channeling in my shower. The water for me, it's really easy. I can channel a lot and really deep if I'm near the ocean. Even when I'm washing the dishes, it's another place where I can go in a really big trance, but definitely in the shower. And I was in the shower and I had been communicating, which I thought it would really, I think I had a little bit of hesitation with the Anunnaki, but I was trying to be more open and I was having a conversation with not exactly, it wasn't an Anunnaki being, but it was an Anunnaki representative. And I began to have a conversation, and one time during a channeling session in the shower, this being told me that angels didn't exist, that everything was just a sham, and that the work that I was doing, I was meant to do work much greater than that, and that all these beings that resonate with me highly were false. It was the false good people, right? The false good beings. And at that moment, I something clicked and I just shifted entirely. And I was just like, wait. Hold on. I was like, no. I need to use my own discernment. I cannot get too involved, because when we're doing this type of work, we will be tested. If you are currently beginning to channel or opening up yourself to spirit, you may get tested. There'll be little turns and shifts and all of that little bumpy ride around. Sorry, I see a big butterfly just coming in. I just saw it, and the shadow here is so beautiful. So there is always times where we're going to be tested. So at this moment, because I was just okay, I'm really exploring, do I need to wake up my dormant DNA, really get involved, I lost track a little bit of what I was letting in a little too much of this being and taking it law, like that's it. But not entirely. Like I always had my reservation a little bit. And I think that was my thing, that I had a reservation. And without being too hard on myself, needed to pay attention more of why entertain something if I have a reservation about it. So when I I was like, okay, well, but I'm gonna be open. But I wasn't truly being open because I had a reservation. But I'm like, but I'm gonna challenge myself to do it. However, why even challenge myself if I had a reservation? And it was keeping it a little bit at arm's length. So that was my little red flag that I saw and I myself ignored. When that happened that night, and I was like, no, forget it. I'm not part of this. Thank you very much, but no, I'm not part. I don't believe what you're telling me right now. I don't think you're here for my highest good anymore. We're gonna part ways. Thank you for your collaboration, your service, but we're parting ways. And it was gone. I got out of my shower. I felt very compelled to, again, cleanse my house, cleanse the area, cleanse everything, my room, everything. And that night, a funny story. Okay, little fun fact about me. Both my husband and I work from home. He's been working from home much longer than I have. I've been working from home for about a year. Just so you know, I was an executive assistant for almost 13 years, and I love my job, but I knew that was no longer in alignment with what I feel is my true purpose and honor in life to do. So I left that comfy job to just work on energy, and I love it. So we both work from home, but he works really late. Like he's available all day, and his time to work is at night. He likes to work at night. I'm the opposite. I work during the day. I like to sleep at night. So sometimes, I'll go to bed, and then he comes in, an hour or two later, and just kind of like to check on me, or gives me a kiss and gets back out. So So here's the really interesting deal. Back in May, it was a little bit of a chilly night, and I have gone to bed, and I had this experience. So there's something that I've developed just to knowing, like I have dreams, I have visions at night. All this is while I quote unquote on sleep, at sleepy time. I have dreams, I have visions, and I have experiences. And they're very distinct. So this was actually an experience of what happened. So I'm asleep, and I see my door from where my bed is. The door was like cracked open, and in like a sleepy mode, I opened my eyes and turned towards the door. And my husband, when it gets chilly, because he works, we have a separate studio from our house where he works from, a separate office. He was like, he wears like a beanie sometimes. Right now it's super hot in San Diego, so that's not happening. But he was wearing like a beanie and a jacket. And I just, like, corner of my eye, I look, and I kind of like look towards the door, and I see him. And I was like, oh, and he's like, he never came in. And he's like, it's okay, I just wanted to check on you. And as I catch a glance, I notice that it's not my husband. It's a shapeshifter in my husband's beanie and jacket, giving me the illusion of comfort. And it was really interesting because I turned, and I was just like, I saw him. I was like, I was just checking on you, and kind of went back. And I was like, no, that's not who you are. And that was actually one of my very first experiences with a shapeshifter. And at that moment, I just, boom, went into, like, I woke up and went into a full awareness mode and protection mode. And I was like, okay, hold on. So I you know, I seal my house, I seal my room. How can this shapeshifter come into my space after I've done that, like after I've cleaned, right, and clear, and I only work with high vibrational beings and frequencies of the purest love and light and source energy. And it was like, so I went to bed, like I crashed, and I was having this channeling the next day, and they were like, it had to happen. It had to happen. The next few days, I was just a little confused because I was like, how can this happen if I did all this cleaning and everything? How can this still, like, how did this happen? And then I realized during a channeling session, then the Ascension Guides came, and they're like, that had to happen. And I thought it was an Anunnaki shapeshifter, which it was at the beginning when I thought I was communicating with an Anunnaki representative at that moment. And that was it. But the actual shapeshifter was just an experience that I had to have. It didn't feel bad. It didn't feel scary. It just felt like it was not what it was saying it was. So I experienced that whole experience, but I remember then when I really went back to see that moment, I was like, wow, it looked like my husband, but it wasn't my husband. And then I asked, the next day I asked my husband, I'm like, hey, last night, did you come into the room? He was like, nope. And he validated what I experienced, which was quite, really out there. I was like, wow, my really big experience with a shapeshifter. But I never felt scared. That was the thing. I never felt scared. After that, during a meditation, the Ascension Guides came in. And it was really interesting because it was like, bravo, bravo, you passed. So I had to have that experience of channeling, the Anunnaki, which it wasn't, and an Anunnaki representative. I had to go through that. They had to tell me that, angels didn't exist, this 11th dimension, angels don't exist, this other, 12 dimension beings don't exist, Pleiadians are a joke. And I was like, no, I do not, you no longer resonate with me. If I was not fully centered with myself, I wouldn't be able to use my own discernment and say, no, this is not it. I have my own right to choose. I have free will, and I am fully rooted in conscious awareness and high vibrational energy to make my own choice. I do not need somebody to come and tell me that something is right or something is wrong. And that was my big thing with them, that you have, like, if this video resonates with anything with you in life, wonderful. Yay, take it, use it. Otherwise, discard it. This is not your time to, doesn't resonate now, may not resonate. But always use your own discernment, which is one of the things that I recommend for everyone, all of my clients. I'm always, you have the right to choose. You're in full control all the time. And after that, when I got to meet the Ascension Guides, they told me, you're gonna channel us mainly. You still have your guides, of course, but we are the guides for the collective also. So all of you can channel them. They're here for you, for your service, and they're here for your own ascension. However that you feel it looks for you in your life right now. And it was really, really awesome, really interesting. And so I met first the guides, and I was like already channeling the guides. I was utilizing the guides to help my clients as they were transitioning. Everybody was just having a blast. It's like I say, it's a conversation what we're having, and it's just freaking fantastic. And after that, the Ascension Masters were shown to me. And they're very powerful. They're love and light. They work with the highest vibrational frequency, and they're here to support the ascension of everyone in planet Earth to awaken the dormant DNA that we all hold within us, is for our highest good, and for all of us to thrive, to really live our extraordinary lives. And I love it. I absolutely love it. So moral of the story. Moral of the story is use your own discernment. You are in full control. Always, 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 always. You are in full control. You got this. Even when something coming from a spiritual mentor that you have, or people that you look up to, not everyone has the answers. Know that you have your power. You staying sovereign in your power, in your energy, to make your own decisions, your choices. Use your own discernment for your highest good. And this is one thing that I talk to my clients about all the time. I'm like, anytime you're gonna make a choice, just ask. If you, especially if you're a little, doubtful about it, just ask: is this for my highest good and the highest good of others? And just notice how that feels. And if it says yes, then yes, go for it. If it says no, reconsider, reprogram, try to figure out the kinks, and making sure that it's good for yourself and that it's good for others. Because we're all here. We are one, literally. We are connected in way more ways that you can imagine. And yeah, it's amazing living this human experience and awakening our dormant DNA, because we all came here with contracts, and one of them was to forget everything so we can go through this experience. And that's why we call it the awakening, because we begin to remember. But it's not that you're going to learn anything new, it's just that you're remembering things that you already know. And I cannot wait to hear how you guys are doing with everything. Please let me know how I can support your happiness. Click on the links below. I am so excited to see you here. And again, all the videos are charged with high vibrational frequency for you, just simply by watching this video. So much love, so much light is coming your way. I love you all so much. Thank you for listening for my little story on how the guides came into my life, and the masters, and that experience with the Anunnaki and the shapeshifter. Have a beautiful day. Till next time, you extraordinary beings. Love you all.